On this episode of Doing the Most, we're making a Cyser with Applewood-Smoked, apple blossom honey, Calypso hops, and fresh apples.
Homemade brews and various how-tos, everything from mead to roast, bake creation, fermentation, inebriation, doing the most.
Potentially one of the most doing the most experiments that's come out of this YouTube channel. And also, admittedly, my first true Cyser. So, went in blind. And I've wanted to approach the Cyser category, but I've wanted to do it right. I've wanted to do it all the way. And yeah, I can make a cider like my summer cider recipe. I could make that recipe, I could incorporate honey, and it would probably be just fine. It would probably be great. It'd probably be refreshing, honey forward, strong punch of apple, but it wouldn't be on brand. And so when we started spitballing ideas for what our Doing the Most Cyser could look like, using nearly all of the parts of the tree and the fruit felt right. So that starts with apple blossom honey, which isn't cheap, and smoking the apple blossom honey with apple wood from the tree. And of course, since it's a Cyser, we needed to mix it up into some apple juice. Now, I wanted to be able to have some level of control over the target gravity by adjusting the gravity with apple juice concentrate and water. I probably could have done this recipe and been just fine using apple juice, but compared to apple juice, I actually added a little bit more apple juice concentrate to get that sugar content just high enough to hit the target gravity I was going for, which was 1.11. And then we'll talk about it later, but there was definitely a need to incorporate fresh apples somewhere in this brew.
The ingredients for our apples all the way down Cyser were, in primary, 8 pounds of Applewood-Smoked apple blossom honey, 12 cans of apple juice concentrate, 1 ounce of Calypso hops, and water to 5 gallons. We fermented using D47 yeast. In secondary, we racked on top of 10 pounds of chopped apples, allowed those to sit for a few weeks, and then we racked off and stabilized. We back sweetened with the 4 pounds of remaining apple blossom honey. We had an early morning start to this Cyser. We needed to soak our apple wood in water. Having damp wood makes for better, longer lasting smoking, and we wanted to smoke this honey for about 2 hours, so we really wanted our wood to last in the smoker. So we soaked this for a few hours in hot water in order to make sure that our wood is damp throughout. While that was soaking, we got the first part of our must mixed up. I opened and poured in all 12 of our cans of apple juice concentrate. Apple juice concentrate is really nice to brew with. It gives you basically the same product that you would get with apple juice, but you can mix it up to your desired gravity, meaning it gives you quite a bit more flexibility in adjusting your must, as well as typically being cheaper than buying whole gallons of apple juice. And it's definitely easier to store and transport than whole gallons of apple juice if you've got the freezer space to store it in. After we have all of our apple juice concentrate in there, we topped it up with some water, and we covered it with some aluminum foil to keep any buggies out while we're smoking our honey.
You probably looked at that ingredients list and said,
What?
Calypso hops? Well, Calypso hops actually have some apple flavors and aromatics in there, as well as some flavors and aromatics from other fruits. But I wanted there to be just like that floral kind of background note of apple flavor, and so we're gonna dry hop in here with 1 ounce of those Calypso hops. I think any more than that would have probably been overboard.
I got my grill started. It was a very windy day when I did this. It was a little difficult to contain the flames and the ash at the beginning of getting the grill started, but I made it work. Just used a little bit of oil here to get the fire started and get those coals lit. And we're gonna let those coals burn until they ash over and turn gray, so that way we know they're nice rolling embers in the bottom of the grill. Then I'm going to weigh out my honey. We have a full gallon of apple blossom honey here, and so we're going to weigh off 8 pounds, and 8 pounds is what we're going to use in the smoker. We're going to reserve the remaining 4 pounds for back sweetening later. Then I'm just pouring off the water from our bucket of wood here, and our wood is ready to go.
So the smoker setup for this is actually fairly simple. It's a smoker for smoking meats or cheeses, things like that. And so on one side of my grill, I have a smoker attachment. All the actual heat involved smoking stuff happens inside the smoker attachment. And then the smoke feeds into the grill, across whatever foodstuffs are in there, and then up and out the little chimney pipe. So for our setup, where you'd normally put a rack of ribs or a big wheel of cheddar, instead we put a Dutch oven full of apple blossom honey.
Once that was going, I stirred the honey about every 10 minutes and smoked it for 2 hours, which required adding a little bit more wood about every 15 to 20 minutes as it smoked. And I went through a whole 5-pound bag of applewood over the course of that 2 hours. I found that stirring definitely helped get the smoke flavor into the honey. I wouldn't rely on the smoke flavor just getting in there just through the surface. I really do feel like it needs to be mixed in. And once our smoking was done, we brought that into the kitchen, and it was definitely slightly warm from being in the grill so long. So I added some cold water to it to kind of bring it down to room temperature so we could add it to our must. Stir, 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 and just let it sit for a bit. Back in the studio, our hops pellets have started to fall apart in the must. And with our honey now down to room temperature, we're ready to add it in. All of that goes into the carboy. And then we rinse the Dutch oven to make sure we get every last drop of smoked honey out of there. And then we got it topped up to 5 gallons and give it a nice healthy stir, stir, stir to make sure all the honey and everything is incorporated and mixed throughout so we can get a gravity reading. I checked the gravity with my hydrometer, and I'll call that just above 1.112. After scouring the internet for cider and Cyser yeast recommendations, it seemed like the consensus was mostly in favor of D47, so that's what I went with here, rather than a specific cider strain of yeast or an ale yeast. And then I rubber banded on a paper towel to let it breathe a little bit during primary fermentation as this kicks off. I used a Tosna 2.0 nutrient schedule on this, which included 4 additions of Fermade O over the course of about a week. And this just ensures that the yeast has the proper nutrition to cut through all of the sugars in there with a healthy fermentation, quickly and with no off flavors. And this took close to 3 weeks for primary fermentation.
So it took a while. It took about 3 weeks, and our Cyser finished at 1.000. In tasting it, a couple things were abundantly clear. The apple flavor needed to be hoisted up. There needed to be something in there that kind of punched in an appley way. And the smoke flavor was incredibly strong. And so I had high hopes that throughout the fining process and just the aging process that some of that flavor would mellow out. And hopefully if it was kind of particulate based, some of it would drop out. And so I was crossing my fingers for that. But what I really dialed in on is this thing needed some fresh apples. So I sanitized 10 pounds of apples in Starzan, a mix of apples. There was some Honeycrisp and some Granny Smith in there. And then I cut them all up and put them into a 7-gallon carboy. Then I was able to just rack our Cyser from its 5-gallon carboy onto all those apples. So there was a little bit of re-fermentation that happened when it sat on the apples. So once all of that had died down and it was back to dry, I wanted to use the rest of that remaining apple blossom honey to back sweeten it and give it some of that honey richness that I felt was lacking. So I used potassium metabisulfite and potassium sorbate to stabilize, so that way I wouldn't have any concerns over re-fermentation when we added the honey.
And about a week later, after I had dropped a bunch of junk out of it, I was ready to get it back sweetened. And I'm doing a heavy-handed back sweetening here, so I chose to rack on top of that honey because I was concerned that there might not be enough space in the carboy if I poured the honey directly into that carboy. and it was a good opportunity to get the brew off some of that fluff that had dropped to the bottom. Honey goes in, and rack it on top of there. And then I kept an eye on it for a few days just to ensure that I didn't see any signs of re-fermentation. And of course, I had to have a taste. The smoke was very strong on the nose and also very weird on the palate at this point. Of course, this was still a very young Cyser, but I was very concerned at this juncture that I had over-smoked my honey. You can see the concern on my face. Once that had cleared out nicely and all the stuff had collected at the bottom, it was time to get it into bottles. And at this point, I still had yet to really taste it to determine how it was going to turn out, but I knew at this point that there was really little else I could do to improve it. It was ready to go in bottles, and we'll just see how it turns out. After all, this was an experiment. Apples everywhere, apples all the way down. So it was a good opportunity to learn, if anything.
I've teased this project on Reddit and on our Instagram and on our Discord, and I was always kind of wavering on whether or not I wanted to post it because it's not a recipe release. This isn't something we've worked on or perfected. It's just kind of a fun project that I wanted to do to test the limits of the Cyser style. But as it was going along, and particularly as I was getting some weird flavors early on in secondary, I kind of made the choice that whatever happened, I would post it. So that way there was full disclosure on whether it turned out great or whether it turned out just absolutely repulsive. I wanted you all to learn from my experience using smoked honey in a mead. And I wanted you to see how that turned out, good or bad, for better or worse. Should you brew with smoked honey? Let's find out. This was a heck of a project. The nose on this is so incredibly unusual by typical mead standards. Just kidding. This is doing the most. So the nose is very smoky. It's like just a little bit campfire, while just a little bit giving you that vibe of like an Applewood-Smoked bacon. The apple notes on the nose are very subtle. It's appley, but it's behind the smoke. Look at that color. Clarity. You know what they say, an apple a day. It's so unusual how there's not really a lot of smoke on the flavor profile. The smoke is there to kind of hold everything together. It's definitely there, it's just not in your face, which is super interesting because it's so strong on the nose. The flavor up front is all apple and it's juicy. It's appley and like juice box juicy. It's got those strong apple flavors while also having a nice cidery flavor that kind of gets you right in the side of the mouth. But the honey is there too, and part of that is because it was so aggressively back sweetened with honey. It is a trip in the glass. The florals are there, and so you really do get a sense that this is not just a cider, that it is a mead. But man, the smoke in here is just... I don't want to use the word weird because weird sounds bad, but it is just such a foreign flavor in something like this. But it's really nice backed up by just how rich this is because of that intense honey profile from that fairly heavy-handed back sweetening. Much sweeter than I normally sweeten my drinks to. So this is going on like 6 months old or so now, and it has become so incredibly cohesive in that time. I'm really kind of impressed with how the flavors have just kind of fallen into place the way they have. But it's not necessarily the type of thing that I would suggest you just go out and brew on a whim. But yo, playing around with smoked honey and mead, might be the next big thing in mead, because this flavor profile is just so unlike anything I've ever had in a mead before, or really a wine or a beer before. And I've had some smoked malt beers before, but it's just so unusual and so tethering in the way that the smoke flavor kind of grabs everything and holds it together. It's quite strange, but also I think it's super good. If you feel so compelled by this video to brew this for yourself, please let me know. And if I miss your comment telling me that you brewed this, send me an email, because I'm super curious if anyone else has such success with smoked honey. I know I'm going to do this again, and I am just already having visions of smoked buckwheat honey in like a blueberry melomel. I think could be just out of this world. But as like a maiden voyage into smoked honey in a mead, this really tells me that there's promise here. It's almost not fair that this is as good as it is, because it was a process. If you enjoyed this video, please hit subscribe and ring that bell so you can get notifications of our new homebrewing content. If you'd like to connect with us, we have a Twitch, Instagram, a Discord. The links to all those things are below in the description. And there's just an amazing community of Doing the Mosters out there that have connected with us over the years, and we love and appreciate you all. I'm gonna go edit this video and maybe drain this bottle a little bit. Until next time, happy brewing and cheers.